Hello Crypto Cats, my name is Tom and I am the Crypto Investor, and it's time for our weekly market roundup. We start as ever with the heat map, and you can see that it looks slightly red, but this is not dramatic numbers. We're looking at zero. We're basically flat on the week. Ethereum is down 1.26%, basically back to where we started after a bit of a dip. Bitcoin just marginally up, basically again back to where we started. The so-called ETH killers, or collaborators, Solana and Cardano, both looking very strong this week. Solana hitting an all-time high now, up at $90, up another 17%, 16% for Cardano, up to 2.85. DeFi just looking a little lackluster this week, or traditional DeFi as we know it. Getting somewhat of bullied by the alternative DeFi solutions on the likes of Luna, and on Solana we have such as Radiant, and also the stuff that's been built on Avalanche as well. So it's interesting to see what's happening there. So yeah, let's have a look at the bubble, see what is going on. And not too much to say. Tezos they've had some collaborative investment going on. They're up 40%. Engine looking quite nice. I'm also interested in their other token, Affinity, which is a NFT solution allowing you to break down those garden walls between games that you can actually take in-game assets from game to game using their solution. Well, in theory, that's what they're planning. SafeMoon, I don't really know what it is or what it does. It's not of interest to me. So yeah, we are Sushi down 16%. As I said, many of the standard Ethereum DeFi protocols are not doing so well. And Sushi is an amazing project. I've been adding to my position. It's undervalued as far as I can see. But right now we have so much demand for Ethereum due to this craze in NFTs that DeFi is almost unusable because the gas prices are so high due to NFT demand. And so we're seeing DeFi beginning to look for other places. So that's interesting to see what's happening right now. We'll look at that more in a sec. Doesn't mean the revenues are any less. I mean, of course, as I said, it's DeFi is tiny down here, but it's OpenSea, the NFT marketplace, and Axie Infinity, the game that is just taking all the revenues, of course, Ethereum itself here. But what we're seeing right now, if we look at our classic ultrasound.money, we can see that it's basically OpenSea that is taking all the burn for Ethereum. All of the activity, all the transactions are happening because of NFTs. And this is because when you buy and sell an NFT, it's not a standard. You may have noticed it's very expensive. It takes more computable power to move an NFT effectively on the Ethereum blockchain, and so that's why they burn so much, and that's why they're clogging the system. It's great for the burn, but we can see that Ethereum is quaking under the demand. So yeah, interesting to see. And if we do our simulation on when we move to 2.0, you can see now at minus 1.3 because there is a lot of demand on the Ethereum network. All right. Cool website for you. This is Coinmarketcal. What you can do here is you can say, okay, for the next week, top 100 coins, I want to know what news events are coming up. And this is a really nice way to keep on top of things. For example, I trimmed my KuCoin token position a little bit because there's a 70 million locked release from the initial founders happening on the 2nd of September. So this is pretty cool. It's a useful site. In other interesting news, so we have on here, what was the other one that caught my eye was that come on, where are you? Just simply that this is where I learned more about Affinity. I've been in Engine Coin since its ICO in 2017, but I wasn't aware of Affinity. I dropped the ball there. So anyway, this is a useful site just to see what is coming up in the week. All right, I wanted to go macro on you. So the crypto markets were dipping until this news event yesterday. Basically, the Fed have said, they're continuing their dovish tones about monetary supply. If you don't know what that means, they're basically saying we're not ready to taper how much liquidity we're pumping into the system. It's the worst token out there. The worst tokenomics is the central government coins of US dollar, euro, pound and such. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is it. This is the monetary supply, the number of dollars in circulation. Since COVID happened, of course, they started printing like never before. 25% of all the US dollars in history were printed in the last 12 months. Unbelievable numbers. and they're saying, that we're not quite ready to ease to taper down this yet. And so, of course, safer assets prevail, and that's you get what's called asset inflation. And so the stock market rallies, the crypto markets rally. This is why we're getting inflated prices. Anyway, let's move on to some other news events. Oh, and by the way, please do like and subscribe. Please do smash the like button. There it is. Yep. And click the alert button. So MicroStrategies have announced another $170 million purchase. Good old Michael Saylor. He's like a metronome, constantly buying more Bitcoin, propping up the Bitcoin price. What a good dude. And Fox Entertainment, the holding company, they've invested $100 million into a NFT company called Bento Box. Everyone's at it. That's all you need to know. It's not just the big names, obviously venture capitalists as well. Every week, billions of dollars is being thrown into this space, and that tells you everything you need to know. When we do get a massive pullback, we're not going to see a 3-year bear market like we saw back in 2018, 19 and 20. This time really is different because it's recognized that this space is, we didn't even have NFTs. Talking of NFTs, can you believe this news? Visa have bought a CryptoPunk. They dropped 150 grand on a CryptoPunk because they recognize that it has historical importance as an artifact, effectively. As soon as they did this, CryptoPunks went up significantly in price. The floor got swept. I think 80 were purchased in the first minute, and they doubled in value, or the floor price doubled in value, up to $250,000 now for a CryptoPunk. So, this is another massive feather in the cap for NFTs. And of course, when we look at OpenSea, which is that big marketplace for NFT purchasing, they hit record highs on the amount of volume of capital being spent on NFTs. We just saw it obviously here, what's going on with the burn, but you can see that huge amounts of interest now in NFT spending. And this tweet puts it best. The volume on OpenSea is 70% of eBay's. It's mind-blowing. So eBay's the 35th most visited website in the world. OpenSea is the 1,000th most visited website in the world, and yes, it's doing 70% of its volume. You have to sit up and pay attention when something like this is happening. Yes, NFTs are in some form of a bubble, but this is how things grow. We're witnessing a paradigm shift in how things operate. And as I've said before, you will see the likes of Disney releasing NFTs within a year or so, and all computer games will have NFTs within them. All right, and this is Ryan Watts. He's the head of gaming for YouTube, so he's just confirming what we all kind of already know. He's bullish on NFTs. I believe play to earn is the next major gaming model, as well as open market for in-game digital items. As I said, Affinity token interests me on that space. So most in-game assets are illiquid, which is insane to him. All of this will change long-term through blockchain and NFTs. It's self-evident. It is, Brian, and this is what we're trying to say. This change is coming. The whole gaming space is being turned on its head by tangible assets within games that are liquid, and this is here to stay. And you bet your bottom dollar that every gaming company is scrabbling around to get a piece of the action and amend their business models to keep up with this. All right, what else do we have? Budweiser, they've just dropped 30 Ethereum. So this is, Visa. This means that Visa paid with Ethereum. Budweiser are paying with Ethereum. It's cool to know that these big companies have got crypto wallets with Ethereum. They've just dropped 100 grand buying beer.eth. And so, interesting to see this happening as well. Every company is planning for this space. An ICO on the horizon for you, Immutable, effectively NFT marketplace and more. They are releasing a token, IMX token, on the 8th of September. Go to coinlist.co/immutable-x to register. You have to do a KYC on there, but it's worth it. I think this is an excellent token. You only can get access to a maximum of 500 tokens. You have two options. You can do $10 per token or $15 per token. The difference being that this one has a 6-month lock-in, this one has a 3-month lock-in, linear release. So you get a little bit every month for 6 months. As I said, it's only $500, the maximum you can do, but I think it's a fantastic project. Oh, and of course, because the SEC are looking out for you, you can't be in the US or Canada or Australia or Hong Kong or China, many other countries there. So mostly for the Europeans amongst you. But this is a cool one. Immutable, if you're not familiar with it, is an excellent project. So I mentioned Affinity from Engine Coin. This is a cool token that they are releasing that allows, well, they already released this a month ago. I'm just slow on this one, sorry, but I think this is worth your attention if you believe that in-game NFTs are a growth area, which I do. Also, Rarible, the governance token, again following the NFT space. If you believe that the Rarible NFT marketplace has got room to grow, then Rarible has good tokenomics behind it, a good governance token. I like the look at that. Another one I had my eye on this week this is a bit more out there. It's Centrifuge. Centrifuge. And what these guys are doing, which is quite cool, is they are bridging the gap between real world assets and digital assets. So they're creating a solution to allow your real world items to become an NFT. So let's say you want to digitize your property in London, and you basically get an NFT certificate to represent that asset in the digital world, so you can then stick it into DeFi and borrow against it. And it's not obviously any real world asset. They're effectively creating that bridge. So assets that a business might have or stock or whatever it might be. So I'm yet to go deep down the rabbit hole, but I really like that as a concept. And so again, it's another rank outside of coin. I think it's 400th place by market cap. It's not registering here on CoinGecko, but I like the look of that. All right, here is a nice tweet from TechDev52, which is just comparing the price action for Bitcoin in 2017 to the price action right now. And it's undoubtable there is a strong correlation. We came up pretty strong and came back down and then had that peak consolidation, and then we exploded up. Exactly the same right now. And we are having the consolidation. Are we about to follow the same as well? You can see that the RSI came down, made a flag. RSA came down, made a flag. It's impressively correlated. Nice bit of hopium to stick in your hopium hat there, crypto cats. Right, let's jump into those charts. Oh, before I jump into the charts, I want to share this as well, just to quell your hopium a little bit. Are whales selling? So this is comparing wallets of a Bitcoin up to 1,000 Bitcoin and wallets of 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin, which is this blue line. And you can see that the whales, so people with more than 1,000 Bitcoin in their wallet, were accumulating until July. Then they stopped accumulating and they've actually started selling. Basically, in the last 2 weeks, those larger wallets have been selling. It's something we'll be keeping an eye on. This happened also last time from around mid-March. And then we had continued growth as these smaller wallets kept on buying. And then eventually the market came down. So if this trend continues, maybe this is another top signal that we maybe have another month or two before we come back down, or it's just a better distribution of cryptocurrency, of Bitcoin. So yeah, digest it as you wish, but something to be aware of that larger wallets are starting to offload their cryptocurrencies a little. All right, let's look at the charts. Starting just actually slightly differently with the total market cap of crypto, we are at 2,074 billion. And as I record this, we are neck and neck on whether we will have another green week. We did, as I say, come back down, but that news coming out from the Fed pushed us back up, as they said that they're basically not going to taper the amount of liquidity coming into the system. And so we continue to move up nicely. We continue to hold this trend line. But this week, at the moment, we have what's called a doji, which is an indecisive candle. I don't know if I'm going up or down. There you go. It's just gone green as we do this. We're right on the cusp of whether it's a positive or negative week right now. But overall, hey, this is perfectly fine. We're holding this upward trend line quite nicely. Looking at the Big Daddy Bitcoin, so obviously Bitcoin at the moment represents 44% of the total market cap, and you can see it's red. So we know from that, in fact, that the rest of the market is what's propping up the total crypto space if Bitcoin is down and it's 44%. But again, we came back down, we looked like we were breaking this trend line, and we found support and we moved back up again. So there's buyers coming into the market, so it's looking pretty decent to me. We held and we've continued to basically remain in this upward channel. This was a nice buy signal here, and right now effectively this is a break above this 50,000, and we probably make a impulsive move from 50,000 up to 56,000 or so to this top channel, which would be a 15% move. So let's hope we see that soon. I mean, so you can see very clear line in the sand here at 50,000. If we pop this here, make that a little bigger, redder, you can see that we have a very clear resistance line. But as we do break here, a lot of shorts will be liquidated and we should get a fairly impulsive move. But work to be done. Let's get past it, Bitcoin. Come on. Looking at Ethereum, much the same. The line in the sand for Ethereum, 33,050 or so. As I said in my video a few weeks back, perhaps we just consolidate, and that has been the case so far. We are just going sideways. We've had that big run up. We're effectively making what's called a bull flag. Here's our flagpole, here's our flag, and as and when we break here, we'll make our next line up, and then we'll consolidate after that. So that is what Ethereum seems to be doing. Any price action down here is an excellent opportunity to add to your position. And first of all, let's look at Ethereum Bitcoin. So I've changed the charting on this a little bit, and made this into one larger ascending, a pennant. I do record these in one take, as you can tell. So for me, this is the trend line that we need to break above. As and when Ethereum does break here, we likely move up further. But it's right now, if you look at Ethereum, it's quaking under the huge demand for NFTs. It's expensive to use. I wanted to do a bit of DeFi wizardry this morning, but I didn't want to pay $100 to do it, so I refused to make that transaction. And I know that unless you have really big bags, most people are moving away from DeFi because it's just too expensive to operate in. And so people are looking at, of course, you've got layer 2 solutions that can help, but people are looking at what options they have on Solana, and people are looking at what options they have now on Avalanche and Polkadot and such. So until we really see the solutions, the layer 2 solutions coming into effect, that broadband moment that we hope to get, Ethereum will probably waver sideways a little bit. Of course, it will move up with the whole wider market, but it doesn't look like it's going to take off in the way that Solana is. Look at this. Just every day seems to be hitting a new all-time high. We had Star Atlas released this week, this cool new concept game. And there are more and more cool projects being built on Solana, and it is just where the growth is coming from. Look at this. We're going to 100. There's no doubt about it. And where do we go from here? It's still I think it's 10th in market cap. It hasn't overtaken Polkadot yet. I keep waiting for pullbacks to add to my position, but we just keep on trucking further and further. Solana, at the end of the day, we're going to have all of these different blockchains. Ethereum will remain a dominant blockchain, I imagine, because it has that network effect. But we will have 20, 30 other blockchains that we will be using. Perhaps 80% are using Ethereum, and then 10% will be using something like Solana, and then another the final 10% will be made up of another 20 or so blockchains. But look at it go. You need to have a bit of Solana in your bag, really, let's be honest. Okay, and so let's look at, I was mentioning DeFi then. So if we look at DeFi in US dollars, if we just take this to the weekly chart, you can see that it is lagging. This isn't something that is blazing ahead. And as I said, this is just due to gas costs making DeFi unattractive right now. If we look at it valued in Ethereum, Come on, let's take this down to the daily chart. Hang in there with me, crypto cats. All right, you can see, look, it's just lagging. Just very uninspiring price action, really, when valued in Ethereum for the DeFi coins. Whereas when we look at the metaverse, hot diggity damn, look at this. It just flies further and further. This is metaverse coins valued in Ethereum. So this is that MVI index, the aggregation of the top 20 or so metaverse tokens. And look at it, testing this upper trend line here, just flying. And this is where the growth's coming from, NFTs and metaverse right now. I still hold a good amount of DeFi, but I recognize that it's not really going to fly until layer 2 solutions come online and the merge happens in the end of Q1 next year. Quick look at dominance, Bitcoin dominance. Look at that, and it's that trend line we had in play is really kind of holding. It's probably only a matter of time until we do break here and we really move down. I do still think that Bitcoin dominance gets down into the 20% or so on this run, especially when you have the likes of, look at Solana charging up there. Okay, and ETH dominance again holding here, but somewhat under pressure. All right. What else? Let's look again. This is the metaverse valued in DeFi. So metaverse versus DeFi, and you can see that it continues to just outperform. We looked at this last week and it was outperforming, and look how much more it's outperformed this week. So as I said in my last 3-4 videos, the metaverse is the place to be. Make sure you have some MVI or have some exposure to these gaming and metaverse style tokens. Okay, I think that's it for now. That's it, crypto cats. I will do a video this week on NFTs. I've been dabbling in the NFT space. I think just playing around. I think everyone needs to be aware of what's happening in the NFT space. It's very exciting. It's very cool. It's very bubbly, but it's interesting. So I will share that with you in the coming week. Thank you for sticking to the end. I'm just a guy on the internet. This isn't financial advice, all right? And very happy investing to you all, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.